Here we are, 48 hours away from the municipal vote. I'm Thomas Degg.
And I'm Arnella Bersanetti. This week we take a look at the issues and the candidates from a different perspective. And we tackle the bigger question, why should we even care?
This is Concordia Reports, your voice, your vote. Turning youth into first-time voters.
We go behind the scenes of the Projet Montreal campaign.
Election is just days away, but nobody seems to care. I'm Farah Hayat, and I'll tell you why coming up on Concordia Reports.
Not so much, not really, but a little bit. Like I talked to my parents about it.
The mayor has the same last name as me, so I vote for him.
I don't know enough about the parties. Wish I did.
I know about the mayoral race, but not about the local candidates yet.
You know, when you go to YouTube, you don't watch videos of political candidates running. You're always preoccupied with other important stuff.
It doesn't take a scientific poll to know that most young people don't care much about municipal politics, and maybe rightly so.
Whether it's allegations of corruption or just a feeling that the politicians don't take into account your needs, they don't always make it easy for you to love them. That's why we've kept you in mind while putting together this program. Stay with us and maybe, just maybe, you'll want to get out and cast a ballot on Sunday.
One thing's for sure, elections officials want you to go vote. That's why Election Montreal decided for the first time to meet young people in their own neighborhood. And as I found out, for many, elections remain confusing. Residents gathered in Côte-des-Neiges to hear about municipal elections. On every mind, a single thought: why vote? For Brian Smith, who works at the Carrefour Jeunesse Emploi, the real key to force voters' participation is information.
We are trying to get a lot of youth out to get them to understand the whole process of the elections that are coming up for November 1st. So a lot of youth, this is their first time electing, being eligible to vote. So we want to put them in a situation so that they know the candidates, they know what they're voting for.
Asita Bombara has been living in Canada for 7 years. Next Sunday, she will be voting for the first time, and she would not give up her turn for anything.
Je veux, participer aussi et puis donner mon opinion en votant. Si jamais la personne que je vote réussit, je serai fière. Sinon, je dirais que j'ai quand même donné mon vote et puis ça sert à quelque chose.
But not everyone is as enthusiastic about the elections. Tonight, the real debate is about the lack of interest, and Election Montreal PowerPoints don't make the consensus.
Basically, reaching out to youth, you have to hit personal, and that was just statistics. And I don't feel that is reaching out to me to go vote.
One thing's for sure, Asita will need a little more time to choose her candidate.
Je sais pas encore, j'attends. Que quelqu'un me... Je sais pas moi.
For Concordia Reports, I'm Arnella Bersanetti.
Well, no matter who becomes the next mayor, it looks like cars could soon be a thing of the past on Mackay Street. The CSU has been pushing City Hall to make it a pedestrian street year-round between Sherbrooke and de Maisonneuve. That way, it could regularly be the site of concerts and parties for Concordia students. At a candidates debate organized by the CSU and the university, all three major parties said they were in favor of the project.
We hope to be able to make it happen.
A street closing like Mackay is a very interesting project, and I would certainly support that one.
It is certainly in line with what we want to do.
Plus, good news for students at the Loyola campus looking to go green. The candidates at the debate pledged to extend Bixi bike service to NDG.
And some might have already taken their bike to go vote. Advanced polling station opened in Montreal last weekend for early voters. Nearly 60,000 Montrealers cast ballots last Sunday. At NDG Advanced Polling Station, located on Inkston, early voters had to wait 20 minutes in line.
It was pretty crowded and it was good to see that many people voting. Yeah, especially on the municipal level.
630 polling stations located throughout Montreal opened to voters between 12 and 8 p.m. In order to cast ballot, voters had to appear on the electoral list and bring an identity card. This year, no electronic ballots were used. Nearly 5.5% of voters took advantage of last Sunday's poll. In the last municipal election in 2005, only 3% of the Montrealers chose to vote in advance polls.
Okay, still to come, we will take a look at what the parties have been tweeting about this election campaign, plus this.
For the first time in Montreal history, a woman may be running the city. But why are we only seeing this now? I'm Marie-Ève Gagné, and I'll be taking a deeper look into women and politics coming up on Concordia Reports.
3 political parties have submitted a full slate, but in fact there are 6 candidates running to become the new Montreal mayor.
Lately, you've been used to hear about these political parties: Union Montréal, Projet Montréal, and Vision Montréal. Louise O'Sullivan, candidate for Parti Montréal Ville-Marie, believes that media coverage during the campaign was not equal.
Well, in many ways, it's too bad we didn't get the same platform, the same tribune.
On Sunday, voters will have the choice of 2 other candidates for Montreal's mayor position. Michel Bédard from Pride Montreal and the independent candidate Michel Prairie also appear on the list of Elections Montreal.
In our next story, we bring you behind the scenes with these unfamiliar names.
Posing for photo ops and being under public scrutiny usually comes with the territory of being a politician. But as our reporter Amy Minsky found out, the names that usually make it into the news don't reflect the lives of all politicians.
Here's an inside look at 2 lesser-known candidates during their run for City Hall.
Glamorous galas and suppers, stately homes and workspaces. Mix this in with some hard work and some devoted fans, good pals, and some time at home with your house pet. And there, we have a politician. Well, some, but not all politicians. Welcome to a team meeting at Kim Gomery's campaign headquarters. It's also the basement of her home. This is her 2nd meeting in her first ever run in an election. Meet Peter McQueen. Having already run for the Green Party in 2 federal elections, McQueen is an old pro. But still, he's on the streets every day. McQueen and Gomery are running for Projet Montréal in neighboring districts of this West End borough. The party's platform calls for a non-corrupt administration, roadwork that doesn't take forever and that lasts, seeing that families don't move off-island, bringing back the tramway, and restoring access to the city's riverbanks. But convincing the voters of your cause can take a lot of work. And without a big budget, Projet Montréal candidates have to take a different approach.
It's really a person-to-person type of campaign, I think is the way I see it being run. And I'm also not a big believer in big spending for politics. I believe spend your money on your shoes, get out there and do the work, and you shouldn't cost that much to convince people to vote for you. It should be something that if you work hard enough, it will happen.
Every day of the 5-week campaign is meticulously planned out. At today's meeting, Gomery's team of volunteers is talking about finishing the website and postering.
Well, I was wanting to do West Broadway, but then that would require...
But her signs are late, putting her at an early disadvantage to the other candidates.
We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boulevards, 6 days.
McQueen has a campaign office in his district, and he has his posters.
2218.
Still, he's being relentless, spending hours every day getting his name up in his district. He goes door to door almost every day to wrangle up new supporters.
There we go.
And right up until the last week of campaigning, McQueen is still looking for more. It might look like Projet Montréal is working with smaller teams, but appearances can be deceiving.
Don't think that the big parties have any more volunteers than us. They don't. You'd be surprised how small politics is in general. What the big parties have is more money, but it doesn't add up to a mass movement. So we're a grassroots campaign, and I'm just one step up from Kim. The last one I ran out of my basement, but this one we actually got a storefront here.
And Gomery is fine, knowing that her party is working with less money.
As far as money goes, I really think there's too much money floating around in municipal politics and too much. I'm kind of distrustful of any sort of heavily funded campaign because you tend to think, well, why do you need it? Are people so superficial that, for example, instead of knowing the person or instead of the issues, they'd be influenced by, you know, billboards or something like that? It seems very superficial, and you know, I want to be sort of seen as a person of integrity and you know, somebody helped by my neighbors.
And as McQueen points out, a little support can go a long way in making the job easier.
Aucun problème. C'était juste pour vous demander.
On va probablement voter pour vous.
Merci beaucoup, c'est gentil.
Oui, parce que ni Arel, ni
Non, on
ni
n'est pas
Tremblay,
convaincus, là. On se dit, au moins, s'il y a quelqu'un...
Projet Montréal has been gaining in the polls, but it remains doubtful that the leader will become mayor. In 2 days, we'll get to see if the grassroots hard work of Gomery and McQueen brings them into City Council. For Concordia Reports, I'm Amy Minsky in NDG.
Lining them up.
Some of the lesser-known candidates aren't the only ones who want in at City Hall. The same goes for women. In Montreal's history, all mayors have been men. This time around, 2 women are running for the city's top job.
According to the polls, one of them, Louise Arel, is in a dead heat with the incumbent, Gérald Tremblay. It's seen as a step toward gender equality at City Hall, but as Marie-Ève Gagné reports, there's still a lot of work to be done.
Women are often bearing the brunt of the economic changes.
Hillary Clinton inspired young American women to get more involved in politics just last year. Could Louise Arel have the same effect on women in Montreal? Charlotte Thibault is hoping she will. Thibault is the president of the Conseil de Montréalaises. The group conducted a study this month and found that women are underrepresented in the 3 major political parties. Thibault explains there has been a 5% increase since the previous election, but she says it's still not enough.
Women are 50% of the population in Montreal. So if we want to reflect the population of Montreal, we have to have 50-50.
Gérald Tremblay, leader of Union Montreal, says his party has been encouraging women to get involved in politics through leadership programs and awarding young women who are active in their community.
Si on veut avoir plus de femmes en politique, il faut les accompagner et il faut leur donner le support nécessaire.
But Brenda Paris says that even if the opportunities exist, women are still hesitant to grab them. Paris is trying to change this by running for mayor of the Côte-des-Neiges NDG borough for Vision Montreal.
And I'm not by any means saying that all the barriers are down and everything is fine. No, there's a long way to go, and women are still reticent to take their place.
The next step is to ensure a diversity of women are represented in municipal government. Montreal is home to women from all different races, classes, and cultures. But for now, one woman is climbing her way to the top, and hopefully many more are following behind her. For Concordia Reports, I'm Marie-Ève Gagné in Old Montreal.
Well, it's synonymous with municipal election campaigns here, and it's a big issue for students. Public transportation. Most of us take the bus or the metro every day, and the political parties know all about that, so they're making big plans. Nika Oliveri joins us with more on that. Nika, it seems like all the parties are looking to appeal to public transit users.
Well, actually, Thomas, they are. Candidates seem to be going green and hoping to get a vote out of it. Public transit seems to be on top of everyone's list. Montreal, Laval, and the South Shore have big plans for the upcoming years.
Public transportation could see drastic changes following this year's election. Political parties plan to expand the metro by 20 kilometers, a project that could cost up to $4 billion. Lisa Nesvitsky is a student who takes the metro every day.
Living in Laval, someone like me, depending where you want to go in Montreal, sometimes it's easier to go more towards Henry Bourassa, and sometimes it's a lot better to go more towards the Côte-Turenne. So by making it a continuous system, I think it'd be a lot more efficient.
Commuters are not the only ones hoping to see improvements. Transport 2000 is a non-profit, non-governmental association dedicated to promoting long-lasting and effective public transportation. They held a press conference that questioned the electoral candidates and their promises. They want to see change and are pushing to make it happen.
The conference took place at the Société Saint-Jean-Baptiste de Montréal. Transport 2000 has 7 priorities they feel the government should take into action. Association President Jean Léveillé explained his biggest concern.
L'inquiétude que nous avons à date, c'est de dire, écoutez, messieurs les maires, pendant la campagne électorale, oui, vous pouvez parler que vous vous êtes entendus pour un projet de métro, et c'est la ministre des Transports, Julie Boulet, que pour l'instant, va prendre la décision finale.
Over 60,000 commuters take the Laval Metro every day. Adding new stops would increase public transit. A final decision won't be made before 2012. For Concordia Reports, I'm Nika Oliveri.
not this year. Honestly, I'm not very interested with Louise Arel and all of them.
I usually always vote, even if I don't, because my dad encourages me to vote.
Yes, probably. Despite the fact I know nothing about what's going on.
Of course I am. Gerald Tremblay did a terrible job during his entire term, so I think it's important for people to go out and vote.
Probably yes, if I'm in town.
Well, if you're not going to vote, it's not because the parties didn't try to reach out to you online. This was, of course, the first time that the parties had access to Twitter, and the social networking site played a role in the municipal election campaign. Let's take a look at how the three major parties used Twitter to reach out to voters. First of all, Louise Arel's Vision Montreal party was the party that certainly used Twitter most actively. You see here nearly 200 tweets in recent weeks. That party used Twitter to reach out to voters and speak to them directly. For example, when the Benoit Labonté scandal broke out a couple weeks ago, the party's PR department went into overdrive and took to Twitter saying that Labonté was the target of lies from his political opponents. Of course, this tweet a bit ironic. The incumbent Gerald Tremblay's Union Montreal, it took to Twitter as well, a little less actively, only 57 tweets in recent weeks. It used Twitter mostly to promote planks in its election platform and to promote its promises in this election. Projet Montréal, of course, that's the third party in the race. It's Richard Bergeron's party. It was accused by some bloggers of ballot stuffing online. As you see here, let's go, let's vote. It was a tweet a couple weeks ago here from Projet Montréal. What it allowed Projet Montréal to do was do really well in important online polls. For example, as you can see here, a link to the Gazette's website and a poll that that website had up a couple weeks ago asking who you would trust to best spend your tax dollars. Projet Montréal had that link up on its Twitter, and it allowed Richard Bergeron, as we view the results here, to get a whopping 72%, 300 votes. Twitter having definitely an interesting impact on that poll, for example, for one. Now you can tweet us anytime as well. Your comments, suggestions, we're at twitter.com/Concordia TV. Now, will Twitter have an impact on voter turnout on Sunday? Hard to say. One thing's for sure, election officials expect less than 30% for voter turnout this year. Could the choice of candidates have anything to do with that? Our editorialist Farah Hayat takes a look at that.
Well, one thing's for sure, this election is anything but boring. We have extortion and corruption going on at City Hall. We have last-minute resignations going on from party members. We have party leaders that are publicly claiming that the U.S. staged the 9/11. Even Premier Jean Charest has called for a public investigation on Montreal's construction industry based on the scandals that have been going on in this month's campaign. So why is the Election Bureau worried that only less than 30% of Montrealers are going to vote? Well, maybe it has to do with the choices that we have and the fact that we now know where our tax dollar is going, or should I say, in whose pocket it's going in. Let's take a look from party to party. We have Gerald Tremblay, whose party is accused of accepting money from organized crime groups linked to the construction cartel. Tremblay told CTV News last week that he did not know that these dealings were going on. But I find it hard to believe that a leader does not know what's going on in his party. And if so, we should question whether he should be leader or not. Then we have Louise Arel, whose right-hand man, Benoit Labonté, was accused of accepting large donations from construction companies in Montreal. In an interview with Radio-Canada, Labonté said that Arel knew about these dealings, but Arel denies it. Then we have Bergeron, who, although is not linked with any brown paper envelopes, has some skeletons in his closet. He had published a piece saying that 9/11 was staged by the U.S. as a way to get into Iraq. Also, he wants to improve the Montreal's transit system. But with what budget? I think that he should be focusing more on the Montreal pothole problem than on the tramway. So there we have it, the appealing choices. But on a brighter note, I have to commend the Chief Electoral Officer for bringing the campaign online for the first time using mediums such as YouTube. $1 million was spent on advertising, including ads such as Chouinard en Direct. This is the best way to get Montrealers to get interest in the election, by using comedy as a way to gain interest. And Chouinard en Direct definitely shows what the effects of voter apathy can be on a city. But with all the scandals this campaign has seen, the only way that we can make a difference is by actually going to vote. Go vote, Montreal. I know I will. For Concordia Reports, I'm Farah Hayat, located at Montreal City Hall.
To find out where to vote, all you need is your postal code. Then just log on to Election Montreal's website. It's at election-montreal.qc.ca, and it will tell you your nearest polling station.
And as always, you can have another look at this show or any past episode of Concordia Reports on our YouTube channel. It's at youtube.com/Concordia Broadcast.
Well, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. I'm Thomas Dagg.
And I'm Ornella Bersanetti. We'll see you next time on Concordia Reports.